Hello there, Brick Fanatics. I am here at a special preview event for LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Even just in the waiting area for this particular event, I am blown away by how much cool stuff they have on display. So I know the thing you're really after here is to find out whether or not the game is any good, but just before we get to that, I'll tell you what, the good people at Warner Brothers know how to put on a show. When you're drinking a Bat coffee or eating a Bat pan au chocolat, you know that even Adam West's Batman would approve. Yes, Commissioner Gordon? What's more, the entire venue looked like they had just helped themselves to everything cool and Batman related that they could find in the Warner Brothers archives. So you had costumes, you had props, and you had the entire Bat bike from The Dark Knight Rises. And all of that was just set dressing, because really what we were there to do was play the game, and full props to them, they just let us play the game. There were a few developers there from TT Games who helped us if we got stuck at any point and who pointed us in the right direction, but otherwise we were given a few solid hours to just sit and play. They'd queued up a few save files for us so that we could jump around and try a few of the different levels and get the full experience of the game, but otherwise we were just left to our own devices. Now, unfortunately, while I did film myself reacting to the game as I played it, the microphone was not great, the sound quality is not fantastic, and I thought I would not subject you to that, so instead I'm just going to talk over this footage again. You can imagine me and my reaction to all of the things that you are seeing here. In a nutshell, this is a TT Games LEGO Batman game. It has all of the things that you would expect, but I really feel like they have elevated the presentation this time around. The core mechanic of the game is what you would expect. You are a little Batman, you run around and you do all kinds of little Batman things. This generally involves following the story of Batman. In this case, it is an amalgamation of all of the various different ways that this story has been told over the years, primarily through film. So you've got elements in here from the Tim Burton Batman films, from the Joel Schumacher Batman films, from the more recent Matt Reeves Batman film, and from the Christopher Nolan Batman films, and then other little things sprinkled in here and there where they are appropriate. Your job, in addition to pointing and smiling every time you see an Easter egg or a reference, is to navigate through levels solving very, very basic puzzles. The puzzle in most of these TT games is fundamentally the same time and time again. Maybe your character has a unique power that can interact with the world around you in some way. If you don't have the right power, then you just swap to a different character. Otherwise, you gotta bash stuff. You've gotta bash, bash, bash everything that you can come across, especially if it is made of Lego bricks, and then you press a single button and your character builds all of these bricks into something completely different that then solves whatever puzzle you are trying to solve. If you have played any of these games, whether a previous LEGO Batman game, whether a LEGO Marvel game, whether a LEGO Star Wars game or Indiana Jones game or anything of this ilk, you will know this formula and it will be here and recognizable. What's different this time around is a real focus on melee combat. With the Skywalker Saga, the previous LEGO game done by TT Games, a big focus was on the action and the combat in a way that we hadn't previously seen in what is primarily an adventure game series. For the uninitiated, an adventure game is generally more focused on story and exploration and puzzle solving rather than on any actual fighting. But the Skywalker Saga did things differently by having a strong focus on shooting to go alongside lightsaber combat and to go alongside all of the puzzles that you're solving as part of the game. This time for LEGO Batman, Batman doesn't use guns except for all the times that he does, so we've got a real focus on hand-to-hand combat. We've got a system here that is borrowing very heavily from the Arkham series of games. Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham City, all of these titles which are really focused on scrappy brawling where Batman is squaring off against a bunch of different opponents. Dodging is a large part of it and countering moves is a large part of it, and you see that very much in this gameplay. It is a maybe slightly watered down version of that to make this a little bit more accessible and friendly to a younger audience, but I absolutely think that it works. And one of my favorite things in this game to do was to repeatedly flip over the top of various different enemies as they came after me, because you can just do that all day. You're not going to hurt them, but it is very fun to do it. There are a bunch of neat finishes in here as well. If you happen to beat an enemy particularly well, Batman might pull out an electric guitar, or he might flip a guy upside down and slam him headfirst into the ground. These things are all pre-programmed, so you press a single button and then you just enjoy watching Batman hurt someone. This being a LEGO game, the consequences of violence are very much played down. If you die in this game, it is the same as absolutely any of these LEGO games, wherein your character just respawns. You'll lose some studs, but otherwise you will be okay. Studs are the main currency in the game, same as it ever was. because you'll be collecting an awful lot of those, I found myself instinctively collecting as many as I possibly could, even though I knew I was playing a preview of the game and would not be able to keep them at the end of the day and save them to my personal profile. There are also various other little secret collectibles to obtain. These are often locked behind optional puzzles that you can either seek out or entirely ignore, depending on how long you actually want to spend playing the game. There are a bunch of different costume options, a bunch of different Batmobile options, and so all of these collectibles work together to earn you different things within the game, and there is a full skill tree that you can unlock bit by bit to gain additional moves, additional powers, and additional abilities. One big thing I saw in this which differentiates it further from the Skywalker Saga is a focus on open world gameplay. There is a fairly sizable open world Arkham here. Now, the Skywalker Saga has a bunch of different little areas that you can explore, which have got a fair amount in them. I'm not saying that they're lacking in detail, but the big open Arkham feels significantly larger, significantly grander, and there's an awful lot more in here to explore. The fact that you can just drive around in a Batmobile for a while or glide across the city means that you've got a lot to explore, even if you're not doing any of the actual missions or progressing the story whatsoever. As I was travelling around the city, I kept hearing a police radio tell me about various different problems or challenges as they were cropping up. I imagine that if I wanted to, I could have spent a lot of time dealing with those as well. I ultimately decided to ignore them because my particular version of Batman is a jerk. I don't think it could be overemphasized just how swish and stylish the presentation is this time around. I was really impressed by some of the cutscenes and the acting and the presentation of animation here. It feels like you are watching the Lego Batman movie in many cases. What's more, this game is absolutely chock full of references to a variety of different things. I thought I saw an Office Space reference in there, like the meme, and I had to ask one of the developers, is this a reference to Office Space of all things? He said he had absolutely no idea because that wasn't part of his remit on this project. So I don't know, but the fact that we have, for example, a reference to Two-Face not sanctioning Batman's buffoonery, which is a reference to something that Tommy Lee Jones said to Jim Carrey while making Batman Forever, is a sign of just how deep the rabbit hole goes here. It's not just surface level references, it is deep cuts for people who not only absolutely adore Lego Batman, but care about the behind the scenes stuff as well. I'm also really impressed with how varied the gameplay is. I played one level which starts off with Batman infiltrating Carmine Falcone's secret base, and at one point you end up in a ball pit. I don't think a ball pit needed to be there, but it made me so happy to see. In fact, it made me think I kind of just want an entire game that's set in a soft play. This would be brilliant. It is a testament to how much is in this game that you spend maybe 10 minutes in the soft play part of the level, and then you move on and you do something completely different. And are Batman and Commissioner Gordon doing the Dirty Dancing dance here? Wow. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily that I had the time of my life playing this game, but it was pretty darn close. This is an absolutely brilliant piece of work. I think that if you've enjoyed any of these TT games in the past, you're going to have an absolute blast with this one because it is a cut above the rest. If you've not played any of those, if you're curious because, for example, this is the first Batman game in a very long time and the Lego is secondary to you, I think that you are going to have an excellent time with this as well. As said, I did only play the game for a few hours. I feel like there is an awful lot in here. This is not a full review, but my first impressions of the game is that this is not something to be missed, although I cannot guarantee that when you play the game it will come with a back pan or chocolat. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know whether or not you will be picking up this game in the comments down below, and do all of the rest of the YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and with that I will see you in the next video, and I wish you an absolutely wonderful day.